I like this place.
Me too. I like you more.
Always.
Always.
Her hands trembled as she stared at the rejection letter. Visa extension denied. 3 years. 3 years of building her art studio from scratch. 3 years of scrubbing dishes at night just so she could paint at dawn. And now, the government had decided she didn't belong here. 30 days. That's all she had before everything she'd fought for would be ripped away. "I'm not going back," she whispered. The words a raw promise to herself. Her best friend, Lena, leaned in from across the tiny cafe table. "Just marry him," Lena said, sounding pretty straightforward. "You stay, he gets paid. No feelings, no strings, just legal survival." Mira let out a bitter laugh. "You make it sound like a job interview." Lena just smirked. "In a way it is." Across the city, in a steel and glass tower, Arav Rowe, a stone-faced billionaire with ice in his eyes, stared at his late father's will. To inherit the company, the clause read, Leah must be married by his 33rd birthday. Arav didn't even flinch. Marriage meant nothing to him, not after watching his own parents destroy each other behind the closed doors of their mansion. He buzzed his assistant. "Find someone," he commanded, his voice clipped and cold. "Quiet, agreeable, and emotionally unavailable. I'm not looking for love. I just need a signature on a piece of paper." That very night, over lukewarm coffee and a freshly printed agreement, Mira and Arav shook hands. The deal was straightforward. 1 year, no feelings. Just a marriage on paper. No questions asked. She would get her residency and the chance to keep her dream alive. He would keep his empire. They would live together for appearances, just long enough to satisfy the will, and then they would walk away, clean. It was the perfect, heartless solution. At first, the arrangement worked flawlessly. Arav was exactly as advertised. Cold, precise, and as distant as a star. Mira kept to herself, finding solace in her art. She turned the sunroom into her studio, a vibrant island of color in his sterile, monochrome penthouse. She painted furiously, avoiding the lavish parties, the nosy press, and most of all, him. But somewhere between the late-night encounters in the silent kitchen and the awkward, wordless car rides, something began to shift. The silence between them started to feel less empty and more full. One rainy evening, Mira found him stumbling through the door, soaked to the bone and burning with fever. Without a second thought, she brought him a bowl of hot soup. He just stared at her. His usual guarded expression momentarily gone, replaced by confusion. He finally spoke, his voice raspy. "Why are you being kind to me?" She paused, holding the warm bowl. "Because I know what it's like to feel disposable," she answered quietly. After that night, the silence changed. It became comfortable. He started lingering in the doorway of the sunroom, watching her paint, his gaze intense. She started reading on the couch in his study while he worked, the soft rustle of her pages, a quiet counterpoint to his typing. They even laughed once, a shared, accidental laugh over a ridiculous TV commercial. Both of them froze, as if they'd just committed a crime, the sound so foreign in their carefully constructed world. When his formidable mother came to visit, he introduced Mira as his wife, without a trace of hesitation. Mira played her part, but her heart stuttered when he reached for a hand under the table, his touch surprisingly gentle, a silent signal of support. The lines of their contract were starting to blur. Then, one night, she found the folder. It was hidden deep in a drawer in his office, a place she was never supposed to be. Her name was on the tab, holding everything about her life, her immigration file, filled with old photos, even the transcripts from her art school interview. Every document predated their supposed chance meeting. Her breath hitched in her throat. He hadn't just picked her randomly from a list. He had researched her. He had chosen her. She confronted him that same night, the folder clutched in her hand like a weapon. Her voice shook with a mix of anger and hurt. "You planned this, didn't you? You knew who I was. Why?" Arav didn't deny it. He held her gaze, unreadable. "Because I knew you were desperate," he said, his voice flat. "Desperate enough not to fall in love with me." I needed someone who wouldn't get attached. She stared at him, the man she thought she was starting to know, and felt her heart splinter. A single, painful tear traced a path down her cheek. "Too late," she whispered, the words barely audible. "I already did." The next morning, Mira was gone. There was no note, no forwarding address, just an echoing silence in a penthouse built for two. The sunroom was empty, her canvases gone. Weeks crawled by. Arav threw himself back into his old lifta. Relentless meetings, the ruthless mergers, the hollow headlines. He tried to force the world back into its cold, logical order. But her ghost was everywhere. The empty mug on the counter where she used to leave her tea steeping. The lingering scent of her on the pillow next to him. Every empty room seemed to whisper her name. He tried to ignore it, to bury the ache under mountains of work, until one day, he found himself drawn back to the sunroom. "Anne? So Italiano." A single canvas she'd left behind, leaning against the far wall. It was a painting of him, but it wasn't the cold, hard billionaire the world saw. It was the man she had glimpsed on rainy nights and in quiet, vulnerable moments. A man who looked lonely, tired, human. In that moment, seeing himself through her eyes, the carefully constructed walls around his heart finally shattered. He broke. That night, Araf found her. She was in a tiny, crowded gallery downtown, standing proudly beside her paintings. It was her first exhibition. She looked up as he walked in, her eyes widening in shock. He walked toward her, not with the arrogance of a billionaire, but with the raw grief of a man who had lost everything that mattered. He stopped in front of her, the noise of the gallery fading away. "The contract was a lie," he said, his voice soft, heavy with regret. "But what I felt, that wasn't." Mira didn't speak. She didn't have to. Her eyes, filled with tears and a flicker of hope, said everything. This time, they didn't need a piece of paper to define what they were. Because sometimes, the truest love stories are the ones that begin with a lie, only to reveal a deeper, more powerful truth. The heart, it seems, always knows more than we do. If this story moved you, don't forget to like and subscribe to Lovin' Us. We bring you powerful tales that hurt, heal, and stay with you long after they're over. Thanks for watching.